increase in citizen lobbying for new laws with teeth in them. Log on to the League of Conservation Voters by Googling. Make sure your voice is heard by voting. I'd like to close with this final comment. Only after the last tree has been cut down, only after the last fish has been caught, only after the last river has been poisoned, only then will you realize there is only one earth and we have nowhere else to go. Thank you.
Welcome back. My name is Andy Radford, your host for the Thursday Edge Reports, coming to you from the Edge's UK studio. There are some great ways you can become involved with the Edge television broadcast. You can join our forum and state an opinion and view there, and as usual, we don't mind if you agree or disagree with the guest or the host. You can become a voluntary Edge correspondent. Now just go to www.theedgeam.com and the information will be there on the website. We already have a vast number of correspondents, and if you want to get in touch with one of them, just go to the Edge's homepage and click the link Correspondents for their bios and information. Most of the Edge correspondents have blogs which they continually update and add information to. These can be found on their bio pages. We have an Edge News section which is continually updated by Edge correspondents, and if you want to send us some news, just go to the news page at www.theedgeam.com and look for the link News Hotline. Last week, Edge correspondents Rachel and Cindy interviewed Todd Bentley. They spoke to him at the Florida Healing Outpouring Conference. More information about this can be found on the Edge's Thursday page. I will post this on Friday. Here's the interview now.
Okay.
Todd, we know that this started May 2nd, I believe.
April the 2nd.
April the 2nd through the 4th, right, was when you were supposed to come for a conference.
Yeah, I was supposed to come April the 2nd to April the 7th.
Oh, okay. And then something happened while you were here that made it different, and our audience would be interested.
Yeah, I had an angelic visitation. An angel appeared to me on April the 3rd in a vision. This was in a visionary experience, and with a message. And the message was, the winds of change is blowing. And I knew in that experience that there was something different about these meetings. From that moment on, I knew that something was about to take place. And by that night, the atmosphere was so different. I said, I've never felt anything like this. It was the glory of God, tangible glory of God. And that was April the 3rd. And right at that moment, everybody on my team and the leadership that was in the church had this consensus. We didn't speak to one another. And the word was, hey, Todd, if you want to stay, I think God's doing something. Todd, if you want. Even my own team said, Todd, have you ever considered, what if God wants us to extend the meet? And I just, everywhere I went, I heard it. And it was clear to me in that moment when that angelic experience took place that I was to stay.
I'm wondering, because coming from the Israeli side, where we're so skeptical, we are never accepting. Left and right, my family, my Mishpahan Israel, is tuned into you now. Never before. The ones that are saying, I'm not listening to that stuff. Are now saying, when is he on? Are you getting a good live stream? What is it you think that you're crossing boundaries into the nation of Israel, which I speak for?
Yeah, well, I've had a word from the Lord that a great healing revival is going to break out of the streets of Jerusalem, and that there were going to be ministries raised up in Israel that would be able to show the kind of power that Jesus and the early disciples walked in, and that's coming. So I have a heart for the Middle East. I have a heart for Israel. I believe that there's just, it's a different package. I believe that when people see what's happening here in Florida and they look at me, I don't look like your typical minister. I think that's refreshing in one way. I think the miracles are so profound, they're irrefutable. There are stories that are out there right now that are so documented medically, people that show up with x-rays, blood work, unexplainable, creative miracles, people that have been deaf from birth, miracles that cannot be denied, just like in the Bible. The miracles are so outstanding. We've now verified 8 stories, claims, 8 claims, some are being verified, of people raised from the dead in 43 nights of revival. We now have 3 stories even tonight that I'm going to share in the revival of another 3 people raised from the dead. One girl was dead for 2 days, and her father is ready to verify that after prayer she was raised from the dead.
Well, we know as correspondents, we don't travel unless we know that the people out there said this is different. Because we hear it left and right.
Sure.
Nobody cares. They're caring about this. They're caring about you because they believe that you care about God. And that's what it's all about. And because we hear you say, get free, not to you.
No, Jesus.
Exactly. So I'm just speaking from the Jewish side and to the Messianic Jews as well, and Cindy from the Christian, that we tell you that we don't really listen to hardly anybody traveling.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of hype.
There is because it's backed up by reality.
There's a lot of hype. This here doesn't need hype. There's more happening here than we can take care of. It's so much bigger than me or any other man or woman that God's got the people ready to come, and people are hearing, go. It's like when God does something and it's big enough, he like Pentecost, He knows how to get the people there. You know, God had it set up that when the day of Pentecost had fully come, and God had preordained that everyone was going to be in Jerusalem on that day, all the nations of the world. You know, it was Pentecost. And everyone was going to make that journey to Jerusalem. And God chose that day because the world was there. And I believe this is one of those moments where God is choosing in a time and an hour in a sovereign vessel, and of course media and everything else. He's got all the right things in place so that this can take place. And so, without any hype, people just have a witness in their spirit. This is God, and they're showing up, and every night is God's presence, and people get healed by the hundreds. And I don't claim anything. We just let people share testimony of what they're experiencing, and we invite the world to come and be a part of it. We want to see Israel on fire.
And I think you're touching them on fire, and I speak from going out towards Israel. And I want to say thank you for taking the time for someone from that country. And Cindy, the Christian on a Mission, we feel welcome here, and we're here to celebrate the Spirit.
Well, we're excited. Anything that you need, we're more willing to give it to you. We just thank the people in Israel for praying for us. The Jews, the Messianic believers, free in Israel, they're willing to put up a prayer for us and say, God bless the revival in Florida. You know, let it be worldwide. It's breaking out all over the world. I was
just going to say, God's bringing this to the whole world.
It's the world.
Lakeland is just a
epicenter.
Exactly.
But it's the world. Internet, television, it's the world. People are coming here from all over the world.
Todd, one thing that our ministry is combining is the science of the Bible, the science of God being the greatest scientist that ever lived, and also, you know, Jesus Christ and all of that movement. And what we are stressing with our group is that God can work in ways like this. And probably, once we understand it's a medical science, all of this is pulling together.
The medical world can verify the miracles. What we need to understand is, you know, God uses medicine, God uses science, but at the same time, He doesn't need the medical work to verify His work. And we're now moving into a day where the works will be so profound, it won't need. I mean, when the arm grows out, you don't need a doctor verification. Somebody deaf from birth here, it's an obvious miracle. When a tumor is visible and you're watching and it disappears, you know, I mean, there's things that are needed to be verifiable. Of course, diabetes and hepatitis and cancer. We encourage, go to your doctor, bring the reports back to us. Bring us documentation. We're keeping track of everyone's names, address, phone number. We're writing them all down.
Go to Todd's website. We're going to put that website on our website. We want you tuned in. We want you turned on because He's turning you on to God. God's arms are open, waiting. Miracles happen. They never stop. They're just revisited now. He had a visitation by a holy being. Get into it. Get on His website. Support it through your faith. Support it every way that you can.
Jesus the same today, yesterday, and forever. We shouldn't be surprised. These things are in the book of Acts. These things are in the story of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. If Jesus is really alive and He is risen, then why shouldn't He be doing the same things to His disciples today that He did over 2,000 years ago? And that's what's happening here.
Get to the website.
All right.